On behalf of Ukatsu and Columbia Public Schools, we'd like to welcome you to this esports event. We understand a few of you may be new to League of Legends and esports, so here's a quick introduction. First things first, esports is specifically the competitive sector of video gaming, where teams recruit players to compete head-to-head, and in the past few years, it's been gaining a lot of traction. Big investment money is going into top teams to recruit the best professionals in the world. Celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, Alex Rodriguez, Steve Aoki, and even Ashton Kutcher are putting money into professional teams or esports software. As the professional scene grows, so do the scenes underneath it. Colleges are now offering scholarships to talented players, and programs like Ukatsu are serving youth levels. Esports covers a wide variety of video game titles, but none are currently bigger than League of Legends, the games that these kids are playing today. League of Legends is a free-to-play, team-based computer game. This is the map, Summoner's Rift. Think of it as the field or court that every competitive game of League is held on. Teams start at two opposing corners of the map, and the game is won when one team successfully pushes all the way to the other team's base and destroys the main structure, called a nexus. There are 3 lanes on Summoner's Rift: a top lane, a middle lane, and a bottom lane, as well as a forested area between the lanes called a jungle. To get to the base, each team will have to deal with a number of defenses. This includes minions, defensive towers equipped with turrets, and of course, the opposing team members. Players on each team each control one character throughout the entirety of the match. They pick their characters before the match even starts, and with over 130 characters to choose from, each with their own unique abilities and attributes, finding the right blend of characters is vital to a balanced team composition. All players begin the match at level 1, with the same amount of gold to purchase items to boost their individual statistics. Killing minions and jungle monsters, destroying towers, and of course, killing enemy team players awards gold and experience points to level up and buy more powerful items. Teams must work together to earn gold, take down objectives, and ambush enemy players so that they can eventually reach the enemy nexus to win. Each match usually takes anywhere between 25 to 45 minutes, though close standstills can last even longer. We've only scratched the surface of what there is to know about League of Legends, but that should cover all the basics for now. Pay attention to what the play-by-play and color commentators have to say, and you'll pick it up in no time. Thanks for watching our introduction to League and esports. We hope you enjoy the match.
Hello and welcome everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tyler Lindsay K. Jennings, a League of Legends player, Twitch streamer, and avid supporter of the Ukatsu High School Esports League. They are sponsored by Columbia College, Armstrong Teasdale, Veterans United, and Hawthorne Bank. For those of you that don't know, this is the first ever LAN high school esports league in the nation, and they have been playing together for 9 consecutive weeks. These 2 teams, Battle High School and Rockbridge, along with Hickman and Jefferson City, have been going head-to-head in the hopes of being the #1 team in this league. Tonight, we have Rockbridge and Battle playing for that very title and the trophy in a 3-game series final. And now, without further ado, let's meet our teams. First up, for Battle High School, in the top lane, we have Gabriel, Fateful Salmon's Clap. And in the jungle, we have Anusa, Scrumpy El Walid. Mid lane is Cameron, Ruling Ocean, Clap. And in our bot lane as ADC, we have Charbel Polly Nabhan. And his support is Evan 737 Young. Let's hear it for our Battle Spartans. And now, first seed team in the league. In the top lane for Rockbridge, we have Andrew VexQ Apostle. In the jungle is Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen. Mid lane is Justin Kill XL Zhang. And wrapping it up in our bot lane as ADC, we have Michael X Sim Zoo. And his support, Sean Owl Time U. With our introductions finished, I'm going to hand it over to our broadcasters. Good luck and have fun.
Oh, wow. What a fantastic crowd here tonight. I see Hickman High School and Jefferson City High School in the stands, too. They're not even playing today, but they're here to support the Ukatsu High School Esports League. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are the casters here tonight. My name is Joe Chi, co-founder of Ukatsu. With me, we have Ben Brooks. How you feeling, Ben?
I'm feeling excellent tonight. Again, like she said before, this is an accumulation of 9 consecutive weeks of League of Legends. And watching these high schoolers play and compete has been just a real pleasure of mine. Growing up here in Columbia, it's so much fun seeing the Battle Spartans, seeing the Rockbridge Bruins, Hickman Cupies,
You got
Jefferson
the blue
City.
bow tie going on tonight,
yeah.
don't you? A
little
little
bit of an
biased,
alum.
but it's
A little bit
okay.
of an alum,
You
but,
can have
very
that. You
excited.
grew up with it. And, of course, we have our third commentator, Coach Ben Bruce, Coach Ben Bruce, also the coach for Hickman High School, as you can clearly hear from the players in the stands. How you feeling, Ben?
Feeling good tonight, Joe.
All right. Well, actually, we don't have very much time to go. Players, you can take your seats and get into lobby. And in the meantime, we'll talk about what's transpired throughout the league.
Yes, exactly. Like she said before, Tyler Lindsay K coming tonight, Rockbridge, the #1 seed coming out of the regular season, dropping only 1 game in the 9 weeks to Hickman High School week 5. So coming into this season, they were kind of probably one of the most extensive clubs. They have a crazy number of members, and they're so very passionate about playing League of Legends. And the amount of growth they've had under Coach Josh Bismarck Cobb specifically has really turned them into such an amazing team to watch.
Yeah, they were here not too long ago. I believe it was October of 2017 for an exhibition match. And what a change they've undergone. A positive one after picking up their coach. And tonight, I can't wait for them to display why exactly they are the #1 seed in this entire league, because they are on point when it comes to every single lane. They've got this team synergy down. Their shot calls are on point. And as we saw in the semifinals and obviously the final game against Hickman High School, you can definitely tell that they've really come together since that first initial match.
Exactly. And on the other hand, though, Battle High School coming into the 3rd seed to the playoffs, ending the season actually with a 4-5 record. You definitely wouldn't usually expect to see a team like that in a championship match, but the way they stepped up in the semifinals, coming as the 3rd seed, meaning they went up against Hickman High School specifically, who ended the season with a 7-2 record.
Arguably one of the fan favorites, or at least the favorited pick, but they miraculously went through this underdog victory in the semifinals, and they are here tonight playing for the district championships. They've really come a long way themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And more so than anything else, we've never seen them play the way they did on Sunday in the semifinal match. We can't stress that enough, but they look like an entirely different roster coming into Sunday, and very much so. Very excited to see them tonight up against Rockbridge, up against a team that they have never beaten before. Rockbridge only dropping a game to Hickman High School, remember, so Battle has never won a game against Rockbridge until maybe tonight. So very excited to see how that works out, and really, I guess for the most part,
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best-of-3 match in our championships. We've got all players in the lobbies. We're seeing good luck, have fun, good luck, have fun. I believe we are ready to start the lobby, boys and girls. Let's hear it for our district esports championships, guys.
Yeah, likewise, though, either way, we're coming into this match, though, some things we definitely want to talk about and highlight. Actually, we're going to jump into picks and bans right now. But the best most specific thing coming into this match, though, is going to be the jungle matchup tonight. Specifically speaking, Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen has been a standout performer this entire season. We actually haven't really announced the awards yet, but when the coaches did their voting for first and second team all district, we'll give a little spoiler here. Maybe you can't hear us, but maybe you can find out after the game. Jeffrey was actually unanimously voted by the coaches, by the staff, and by some of the players as the #1 first team all district jungler. So pretty excited for Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen.
Yeah, not going to lie, even before the Ukatsu High School Esports League, we've known Jeffrey as a League of Legends player. He's gone to a few of our summer camps, actually, where he has improved upon his own skills, and it really has been showing off and paying off in dividends, as we've seen him to be one of the most aggressive junglers in this entire league, able to invade early and to take that commanding lead and also steal a heck of a lot of Baron and Dragon objectives.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. And talking about, him picking up all these strong picks like the Trundle and the Kayn, the Trundle actually banned away from him this series. So Anusa, the jungler for Battle, typically does play those tanks, and so getting rid of the Trundle is pretty important, just so that, on the Zac, especially her signature pick here on the Zac is heavily countered by Trundle. So nice ban away there from Battle. Looking at the bans from Rockbridge's side, Cameron Ruling Ocean, the star player of Battle really, is a Vladimir one-trick. He is exceedingly good on this champion, and we're hearing a little excitement from the audience. That's because the Twisted Fate is locked in for Rockbridge. This is something that KillXL has been working on extensively in his
all
solo
season
queue.
long,
Yeah.
yes. And we have yet to see it in the
Exactly,
Ukatsu
yeah.
Esports
It's been
League.
banned against him a few times, but it looks like it did get through this game. So, it's really up to him with that pick to make a lot of plays around the map, and we haven't seen a lot of that play from him yet. Usually he's just kind of like a rock in the mid lane. Not too aggressive, but doesn't give up too much. But with the Twisted Fate, you really have to take advantage of that ultimate on cooldown.
Yeah, very interesting, though, specifically being on the blue side, the Swain not being banned away by either side, still going over to the red side, not usually seen as the counter pick to Cameron Clapp, that being Ruling Ocean. Specifically speaking, the Vladimir one-trick, he's a top 100 Vlad player in North America. Very fun to watch. It was a side bet, actually, last week. If they were to beat Hickman High School, Coach Cobb he said he'd leave it up for one game, so not left up this game, but we've also seen his Swain before in one of the games during the regular season, which they did an excellent job on versus Jefferson City. So, again, watching the Swain, that's going to be a pretty good matchup in the mid lane. How do you guys feel, though, specifically speaking, about the Twisted Fate into the Swain?
Honestly, I don't think it's, I think it's good, like I said, as long as he's able to utilize the ultimate, because the Swain, his lane is a little bit weaker now on this 8.10 patch, but, if you're not able to punish it, it can still be a team fight monster as the game progresses. And so we'll really look for Justin to make the plays there. Get mid priority, get to the bot lane. And speaking of bot lane, Ezreal and Janna locked in for Rockbridge. These are their two strongest champions, especially Owltime. His Janna has proven to be so effective over and over, so aggressive. And it looks like one of the players actually dropped, so we'll just get in real quick in a second and remake that.
Yeah, very excited. Mr. Cameron Clapp was the one to disconnect, if you guys didn't already know already. He's a sophomore of Battle High School, Platinum 2 currently, and he recently had his wisdom teeth out. So because of that, he's actually heard before the game that his drugs were wearing off right around the 6 o'clock mark, so that might be why he slipped out of the lobby. But either way, picks and bans are going to be similar. They're going to be exactly the same. They actually already drafted on Pro Draft. If you guys don't know what that is, they actually use this system where all the champions are technically unlocked, making it a lot easier for coaches to figure out that pick and ban phase. But we're right back into the lobby, so we're going to see very similar picks like we talked about before.
Again, for those who do not play a lot of League of Legends, this phase right here is the pick and ban phase. There are over 130 champions to choose from, each with their own unique abilities and skill sets. And the great thing about the Ukatsu High School Esports League is that these teams have been playing each other for 9 straight weeks. So they have personally identified who their favorite champions are and who to target ban. You're seeing, let's take, for instance, Kaisa and Karma, Vladimir and Sejuani. Those are targeted bans towards their respective rivals right now. They know that Anusa Scrumpy can play a mean Sejuani, and they also know that Cameron Clapp, like you said earlier, is one of the best Vladimirs in North America. So with this experience, week in and week out, they can target these bans so specifically, and it's so great to see that they have a history, they have a rivalry going on. And at this point, it's never safe to just give away a champion that they know their rival is comfortable with.
Exactly. Like I said, highlighting the Karma pick, or the Karma ban specifically, like you said, we're talking about what happened in the semifinals. We saw the Karma pick, traditionally a support, actually flex into the mid lane for multiple semifinal matches, and to great extent, actually very glad that Battle elected to take that away from Justin KillXLZang.
And I will mention also that this Twisted Fate pick for Justin Zhang, again, the Rockbridge mid laner, whose ultimate ability can essentially teleport him halfway across the map and be a contributing factor into any team fight that he so chooses. I think that the team themselves, we've talked about Rockbridge's synergy, their ability to communicate in their headsets right now and during the game, it makes a great pick for them because they've been rotating on point this entire season thanks to their coach, Mr. Bismarck right there. He's been wrangling this team together. I would say each individual player has had some pretty mechanical competency, but when it comes to shot calling and rotating together in this game, it is essential. League of Legends is not an individual sport by any means.
Yeah, definitely. And all the teams, you can see such an improvement. If you go back and watch the week 1 VODs, you can tell that these players have learned so much and improved and work as a unit now. They're no longer just a few players that met at club and wanted to join the league. They are a team now, and hopefully we can see the culmination of all that tonight in the finals here. Rockbridge traditionally being the more sound team, but like we said, Battle on Sunday did look very formidable against Hickman.
And they definitely have some standout performers, and we're actually just seeing right now exactly what the issue was, why there was a disconnect. There was an unfortunate, Caitlyn was not the selected pick for Battle High School. We see Polly, that being Charbel Nabhan, playing Misfortune instead. A pick that he selected against Hickman High School in the semifinals in their second game, and he played that to great extent. Something that they utilized very well with this Wombo combo. It's where they combine their ultimates together to deal, maximize their damage that they wouldn't be able to deal on their own. And again, he's selecting that champion again into the Ezreal, into the Janna. It's very interesting actually. Sort of what we're looking at today for Battle High School. We're seeing a lot of similar comps. We're seeing a lot very similar picks, but at the same time, very different look in the top lane specifically. That being from Gabriel, Clap, Salmon. What do you guys think about the Gangplank into the Clay?
Yeah, I know we've seen him in the past perform really well on the Shen and the Aurelia. It does look like he leans towards the carry top laners. Just for everyone who hasn't been keeping up with the weeks, Gabriel, Clap, Faithful Salmons in this top lane is a relatively new player to the team. And so we haven't seen a lot of him, only about 2 or 3 weeks, but he has been playing the carry champions. So I like the Gangplank. The only thing is he really needs to show proficiency in it. It can be hard to make that champ as useful as it can be if you're not really up to snuff on your mechanics there.
Yeah, exactly. While we're waiting though for the 3-minute delay again, very excited to see both Battle High School and Rockbridge in these finals. And we're going to leave you guys with this up before we jump into the pick and ban. Let's jump into the actual game.
In that quick highlight video, yes, this is a 9-week season culminating in our finals tonight here at Hickman Auditorium. Very impressive play from both teams throughout the entire season, from all teams, I should say, because there is a certain amount of pressure and a certain amount of competition that you just don't get from playing online games, even online Flex 5 games, where you're literally sitting about 10, 15 feet away from your opponents, and you have to look them in the eye. You have to prove to yourself that you are better in that game in that certain time. And then after all of that happens, you have to shake their hands. Again, something very unique about the Ukatsu High School Esports League is that it is a LAN league, not online. These kids, they've gone through pretty much the NALCS experience, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, very much. It's again very different from an online experience, and it's it goes back to them being able to play against each other, being rival schools. You think the Providence rivalry, that being Rockbridge High School, that being Hickman High School, it's not something that they'd be able to experience at least 3 times in a season if it was an online experience. Same way of getting to know each other. We've seen club members go to Your Pie, that's right next door to our actual physical venue, right after the games, hanging out together. And very excited that we've not only been able to create this fun league for all these kids to play in, but an actual community for these students.
Even across school borders, we see kids hanging out from, Jefferson City kids hanging out with Hickman kids hanging out with Rockbridge kids, and it's great to see that though they are competitors, at the end of the day, we're all League of Legends players. That's what really speaks out. And again, thanks to our audience here, we can also point out that parents are a part of this whole esports league as well. Finally, parents can actually see in a physical setting what is going on when their kid is putting on those headphones and clicking away on that mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, just like that, though, guys, we're going to jump into the first game of the night between Rockbridge High School and Battle High School. The Spectre's delay is over, so they're currently been in the game for the last 3 minutes, and we're about to follow them inside. So, give a shout out. Let's hear it for Battle High School, though, for those guys in the audience. Got any Spartan fans out there? All right, a good number. Personally, I'm a big Battle High School fan myself.
They also have their B squad here to support their team as well. And of course, let's not forget the #1 seed. Who here is in support for Rockbridge High School? All right. I see a couple players themselves. The club sponsors and the coaches, of course, are also here in the audience tonight. And as we drop in just a few moments, Game 1, Rockbridge versus Battle at Hickman Auditorium.
Sorry, feels bad there, Mr. Coach Bruce. Likewise, though, getting into this game, we already talked a little bit about the composition. Very new picks for, well, I should say very new picks, but again, Twisted Fate being practiced extensively by Justin KillXL Zhang, being played for the first time in a championship match, nonetheless, as well as Fateful Statement playing his Gangplank. Haven't seen that in an actual season league match as well, so that's also pretty interesting in and of itself. But likewise, though, going either direction, which team do you guys favor for some of these compositions right now?
Ben, you want to take your guess, and I'll take mine after yours. I'll take the safe bet.
Honestly, if I'm looking at these team comps, Battle definitely scales very well into the later part of the game. They have the Gangplank, the Swain in the middle lane, and their team fight can be so potent. All of the AoE damage that they can pump out in a team fight is going to be so hard for Rockbridge to deal with if they're not ahead. If Rockbridge get ahead in almost every lane they have an option to here, especially with that Twisted Fate. Like we said, Justin in the middle lane doesn't usually play too aggressive in his own lane, but he does like to influence the side lanes. And if he's able to do that, this Kled and the Ezreal lane can pretty much roll over what Battle have drafted here. So Battle's plan is really just to prevent that from happening, right? They want to keep Justin in lane. They want to not, lose too much in these lanes, not fall too far behind. And it looks like, we're just seeing a opposite side start leashing top for that Zach.
Yeah, I really like that. Again, we talked about Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Millen, that being the jungler for Rockbridge High School. He is specifically known, and kind of hated actually, for his just his ability to invade, and just how common of a thing it is. He consistently puts enemy team junglers behind and steals their resources away from them.
I was just saying, to add to that aggressive playstyle, Rockbridge High School has also coordinated around Jeffrey's aggression. They know themselves, and they've actually devised a plan to continue to push heavily so that they can get the roam priority. That's what Justin Zhang was telling me not too long ago. So not only is it up to Jeffrey's call to be aggressive, but it's up to his top laner, his mid laner, even his bottom lane to support him in this if he does find himself in a sticky situation.
Yeah, and right now, actually Swain dealing a lot of damage to this Twisted Fate in the early phase of this lane. He has the Zac in the area as backup, so Cameron in the middle lane is playing very aggressive in the early stage of this game.
Perhaps to combat the aggressive expected jungler in this situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Nice binding onto Owl Time there. Not going to get too much poke off, but the Morg will put the tool down, just get a little bit of harass. Again, this top lane, we saw level 1 VexQ going very aggressive on this Kled. This champ likes to get in and just keep fighting constantly. And it looks like there's a lot of damage going down in the bot lane.
Yeah, something else as well that's pretty unfortunate. Anusa Scrumpy El-Wali, the jungler for Battle High School, started on the top side of the map away from Jeffrey, trying to at least have a little bit more presence on her pathing. Unfortunately, though, she doesn't head to her bot side jungle, and she's getting it stolen from her blue buff specifically, and they have no clue. They have no clue that Jeffrey has already taken away one of her most precious buffs in this game.
Yeah, this is something that Jeffrey loves to do on this Kane pick. I'm surprised it wasn't actually taken away from them just because maybe Battle ran out of options and thought that they could play against it, but a very aggressive fight in the mid lane. Just a gank coming off from the Kane. Swain taking a lot of damage and is actually out of mana now, so this is going to be a harder lane for him. TF full mana, so we will be able to just shove this Swain in now and teleport on the Swain as well. So.
And again, that's just classic Galaxy Fox. Jeffrey Mullen not only stealing the early blue buff away from Scrumpy, but also going for an initial gank to deal as much damage as possible. Now, Justin's got enough firepower in his arsenal, as well as enough mana to do exactly this.
Ignite auto. Will he get the first blood? He will. A nice pick up there. Just seeing his opportunity and jumping on it. This is exactly what you want to see from your roster in the finals. Pure confidence there.
Yeah, again, and that is a pick that we don't normally see from Justin Zhang, and the senior of Rockbridge High School. That player card presented to you guys by Armstrong Teasdale. But again, specifically speaking, for the most part, Justin's been a pretty passive player, just being a real rock for his team. Very unusual for him to get a first blood, specifically on Cameron Clapp.
Forward for first blood. But again, it does go all the way back to the jungle pressure that they have. Jeffrey knows, I might not get this kill right now, but if I do enough damage, Justin can follow up. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so pretty good start, though, for Rockbridge on the first side here. Again, Rockbridge is on the left side, for you guys that already know, on the blue side. And first blood for them gives them a little bit lead in gold. Currently, they're ahead by about 800 gold over Battle High School. Slight CS advantages, farm in both the top, and jungle specifically as well, and the bot lane. So pretty good start for Rockbridge. Pretty traditional of them as well, because they, for the most part, they win their standard lanes across the board, and then they start translating that. They start rotating and pressuring multiple points on the map as a team, and it leaves multiple teams, or almost every single team in this league, kind of without an answer. They're just constantly reacting to Rockbridge and not being able to make any proactive plays on their own.
Yeah, talking about not being able to answer the pressure that they put on, it looks like the item discrepancy in the mid lane is already huge, but it looks like they're bringing 4 people to the mid lane. Kingborn will go down and spot him out with the Zac. Gets the jump, no flash on this Twisted Fate. He pulls the stun card, but one more auto will do it. The flash forward for Charbel on the MF will pick up the return kill.
Yeah, that's the Battle High School that we saw last Sunday against Hickman High School. Again, being very proactive. They were already put behind. They gave away first blood, but they are not discouraged. Something that traditionally we've seen of Battle High School. When they fall behind, they stop communicating. But here we are seeing a 3-man roam from the bot lane to secure a kill onto Justin Kill itself. So excellent play by Battle, and that gives me a pretty good expectation to go raising the bar.
Absolutely. That's the kind of plays that you really don't see in your traditional solo queue mindset. Having 3 players from the bottom lane roam all the way up top just to help out, in this case, Cameron Ruling Ocean. See, what's unique about this Ukatsu High School Esports League is that they have really come together as a
and
team.
now Cameron roamed into the bot lane. The Gangplay ult goes down for a little bit of slow. Cameron popping his ultimate. Ezreal still has flash, though. Heal still alive. He will pop it there. And it looks like teleport's coming in from both teams. This will be a 5-man fight in the bot lane. Ultimate from Kled still available. And looks like Battle. Nice stun landing onto Evan there. He will finish off the Morgana. And with 10 people in the bot lane, only 1 goes down, but it looks like Rockbridge, with the man advantage now, will probably look to take this dragon.
And as I was saying before this team fight broke out, that's the thing about the Ukatsu Esports League. Every single team who is here tonight, and also the top teams in the league, they know that it is not just laning phase. You have to bring it when it comes to team fights. We saw how quickly the teleports came out, how quickly the Twisted Fate ultimate came out from Justin Zhang. They have to back these guys up and make this a 3 versus 5, a 5 versus 5 as quickly as possible, or else they know they're going to get outmatched.
Yeah, and that is incredible. Specifically speaking, for colleges out there, they're looking for players to join their esports teams. You wouldn't probably think that some of these players are even bronze or silver, but how quickly they reacted in a macro sense. That is something you just don't see in the solo queue ladder. For how many players that ended up in the bot lane and only 1 kill, that actually really shows how experienced these players have gotten in these scenarios. Because in normal games at low elo, you see a lot more kills, a lot more bloodbaths. But as the season's gone on, we've seen a lot lower kill counts, a lot more tempered aggression and calculated plays.
Yeah, definitely. And they're, in that fight, Cameron Ruling Ocean on the Swain, he had lane priority. He got bot lane first. but that Twisted Fate pick is able to react so fast. And so that's exactly what we want to see from Justin. You know, Battle was ahead of the play there, but this Twisted Fate makes up for that. A gank into the mid lane, a nice grab by Scrumpy onto this Twisted Fate, and it looks like he will just get out. No flash on him, but you know, not much damage left.
Did want to mention earlier that
Solo kill going down in the top lane as well. VexQ at the same time, just pressuring that game plan.
Yeah, VexQ and Drew Apostle is so very scary on this Kled pick. Wish I'd actually see it more often. Very fun to watch, especially when we get to the mid game when he initiates for his team fights. We're going to see some crazy plays coming out of him.
Yeah, we know he's received significant coaching, especially on this character of Kled, thanks to his own coach, Coach Bismarck. And I did also want to mention that first Drake, that's the Dragon objective, in this case an air Drake, was taken after the successful team fight.
Yeah, Jeffrey Galaxy Fox going for the repeat steal on this blue, but without the support of his team, he's going to get forced into the pit. He has his Q up, he will get over the wall successfully, but now Battle are up 2 men. Yeah, no committing there by the Zac, and Ezreal dishing out a ton of damage, just keeping Battle at bay.
Yeah, it looked like he was caught out there for a second there, overextending a little bit too far with the Battle bot lane in response, protecting Anusa's jungle, but also we see the bot lane from Rockbridge rotating up immediately. We saw Sean Yu, Owltime rotating up as Janna, giving him support, giving him that little bit of a safety net so he could get out through the Dragon Pit. Speaking of the Dragon as well, after that crazy kind of scenario that happened in the bot lane with all the teleports, Rockbridge did secure the first Drake of the game. That is the neutral objective, the Air Drake, that gives the entire team bonus movement speed, both out of combat.
And we should also talk about this Janna pick for Sean Yu, one of his favorite champions to play. And though he is, I should say, Janna the champion is a passive type of support champion, Sean actually plays this champion very differently.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive Janna player. It's so hard to watch the enemy bot laners play against him because they're always stuck under tower. They're always low at risk of a dive here. And we know Jeffrey loves to come bot and just pick on them. And, you know, we haven't seen a lot of that this game, but there has been a lot of bot lane action already. And we're probably going to see more of it.
Yeah, real action's also been around the mid lane. We haven't seen any action top, but it might be specifically because Andrew Apostle is doing such a great job up there. If we actually look at the tower in the top lane, Gabriel Clapp, Fateful Salmon on the gangplank isn't doing the best of jobs keeping him away from his tower. First tower might go down to the top lane. We're actually seeing the engage coming out from Andrew.
And so much damage. The gangplank heals up a little bit. Flashes up on the Kled though, so we could see a dive here. Looks like Kane's roaming up. They're probably going to look for this, but in response, Zac is hovering in the area. Actually, will run into the Kane. A nice knock-up, pulling Kane into his teammate, but it doesn't look like they want to take this fight anymore, and Gangplank caught out now as they split up.
Ooh,
The heal
nice
going
kill
through.
there.
There we go. Finished off by VexQ.
Yeah, that's a 4th kill going over to Rockbridge High School. Maybe a bit of miscommunication there with the ultimate coming out from Scrumpy on the Zac, bringing essentially 2 players onto the somewhat low Gangplank in the top lane. With that, likely the first tower is going to go down in favor of Rockbridge High School, granting them bonus gold.
Yeah, Kane is staying in that top lane. They will force it down. Meanwhile, the Battle bot lane is also forced to recall. Morgana eating one too many Ezreal Qs. He does have the Sheev now, so those will start to hurt. Actually, the teleport going into the top lane, I don't know if he'll make it in time, and even if he does, yeah, he's going to go ahead and cancel that. If he did complete, he was probably going to pay his life for that, so smart decision there. But that's the teleport down for another 3 minutes.
Yeah, for us, I was going to say, it looked like a little bit overconfidence there, thinking he could take not one, but both of them, as he's already been having a really tough lane up there against just Andrew Apostle being the Kled. And for the most part, though, Battle, pretty good start from what we usually see throughout the regular season. Very proactive plays, a lot of games going down, but for the most part, it is Rockbridge.
Yeah. Cameron really Ocean overestimating his damage at this point, has to flash and get healed away. He will barely survive, but a little bit of an overextension there on his part. Scrumpy now showing up to the fight, maybe targeting this Janna, but no, the Ezreal just free-shotting right now. Twisted Fate does arrive now. So low, the flash forward from the Ezreal will pop the Zac passive, and no teleport to save him now. A nice MF ultimate to zone, but no more damage. Actually, no!
Ruling
Such
Ocean,
a
picking
good
up the kill.
pickup, yeah. From Cameron there. And surprisingly, the Zac stays alive. Not enough damage put down to him in his passive. So, you know, with all these members of Battle low, Rockbridge will still pressure this tower. It looks like they will get it eventually. But a nice reactive play there by Battle. Not conceding any objectives for free here.
Yeah, in those situations, it's all about keeping her cool. I know Battle has been probably communicating, hey, our tower's getting taken down. I'm low on health. And at the same time, you have to coordinate to come in and to group together in these team fights, and that's exactly what they did. They kept a level head and managed to get a kill on Sean Yu.
Yeah, and with that, it looks like Alex Fox is going to overextend, missing the Q over the wall.
Yep.
He's going to get caught out going for a ward. He assumed that Battle would have recalled with low HP there, but they're just going to collapse on him.
Yeah, they do lose the bot tower for that.
Yeah, I know Jeffrey likes to play aggressive there, but I have to question that decision. Going in alone without the support of his team, he definitely feels maybe that they're farther ahead than they are.
Yep.
It's about a 3,500 gold lead, and it looks like there's fighting going down in the top lane right now. Faithful Salmon just overextending again into that Kled, who's such a sticky champion. Nice flash over the wall. Kled will use the ulti to follow up. Missing the bear trap, though, getting kited pretty well.
Oh, good
Actually,
flash!
Nice flash there, and Kled will get dismounted. 2 people from Battle are here to finish him off. If Kled doesn't remount, he will get finished off very quickly. One more auto will do it. Cameron popping the ult just to be safe, but a nice trade kill there, actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, they will be losing the objective game. Cameron Clapp forced to use his teleport to get to the mid lane to save it from the enemy mid laner and the support. And just before we got into that fight, I was about to say, you got to wonder, you know, you're picking Gangplank, you're thinking about scaling to late game, you're thinking about farming, but when you're into a Kled and you're talking about that dueling potential, he's just having such a hard time into that matchup. He didn't even pick up the assist, even though he had a pretty good outplay, staying alive for a lot longer than we kind of expected, allowing for his team to come up there and secure the kill onto Andrew. But at what point here, if ever, is Gangplank ever going to be able to play into that Kled?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we mentioned earlier that these side lanes from Rockbridge need to get ahead, and they're doing that right now. And if they can keep this lead, if they can keep pushing those advantages, stay in the same lane assignments, then they will just continue to grow this lead. Battle need to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, objectively speaking, it is Rockbridge that is dominating this game. That is why they're ahead by about 4,000, 4,500 gold, and it's always from these objectives. You can get as many kills as you want. They may only be down by 1 kill, but you can't win the game unless you're taking the towers.
Yeah, definitely. And when we talk about getting more towers, though, the mid tower is low for Battle. And after you knock down all of those outer turrets, that's when it starts getting hard for teams to know what to do. And it looks like Cameron maybe fighting a little bit too hard for this tower will go down basically for free there. In a 1v2 lane, then collapsed on by the King. They will finish off this mid tower. And like I was saying before, after you break the outer turrets, it becomes a lot harder to decide, you know, who's going where on the map and what kind of macro play these teams should be making. And this is where the coach's impact really will show a difference.
And
right
of course,
now,
it's not just the objective plays, but also the creep score differences across the board. Those are those numbers you see next to the players' names, or at least the players' avatars. Generally in favor for Rockbridge High School. They have eliminated more minions and last hit more minions than Battle has, further giving them that advantage in gold.
yeah, Scrumpy maybe trying to go for the steal there, but not successful in getting over the wall, and this Kane deals so much damage at this point. Ezreal and Gangplank ults going down. TF ult popped as well, and he will show up to this fight, but it's not necessary. The kill will go down onto Gangplank, and actually the stun card getting hit onto Ruling Ocean. He will go down as well.
Yep, and that's really what this Rockbridge composition is looking for. Looking for those picks, looking for people out of position as they rotate across the map. And, you know, what Battle's trying to look for are more of these team fights. They're looking for the Gangplank calling down the ultimate for Scrumpy to group everyone together so they can land that Misfortune ultimate.
Yeah, and a nice binding landed onto that Ezreal there, having to flash away from the ultimates that are put down on him. But no kill returned by Battle.
Yeah, right idea there though by Battle for what they're trying to throw their abilities out, but just not enough damage yet. Not everyone there. And they're kind of up against with their backs against the wall. You know, 8-4 right now, down by 7,000 gold. You know, just a couple moments ago, we talked about being down by 5,000. Pretty significant lead over to Rockbridge right now. Battle really needs to find a way to get a foothold in this game.
Yeah, and I can't help but think that maybe, you know, if Cameron's team had been behind him when they fought in that jungle, the fight would have looked a lot different. Like we said before, this is a very strong AoE team fight comp from Battle, but I don't think we've seen a 5v5 aside from that fight bot. You know, they really need to group up and use their power together, even though they're a little bit behind individually, just like we see here. You know, Gangplank can't fight this alone. He's going to go down again to the Kled, it looks like. But maybe with his team, if they were doing 5-on-5, yeah, there we go. He will go down, Kled will dismount and get out safely. But they really need to look for a 5-on-5 fight or a man up. Their teleports are almost up, so hopefully we look for maybe a last stand from them around this Baron.
Yeah, as far as scaling goes, at the later point in this game, they have a better chance of maybe winning some of these team fights. Something I do kind of not really like is the lethality build on the Misfortune once again by Charbel, opting not to go for the critical chance, critical kind of build, those kind of items, but instead opting for more lethality early damage, which is really going to delay his real damage in this game. That might
yeah,
be
and no one's
significant.
picked up any armor yet, aside from the Iceborne Gauntlet. So, you know, maybe if they push it off, it looks like Jeffrey in the jungle's going for that Black Cleaver. We probably have a Frozen Mallet, it looks like, coming out in the top lane, so not a lot of armor. Already Mercury Tread's down as well, so it might not be too bad, but again, yeah, it doesn't scale as well into that late game.
And with their backs up against the wall, Battle High School really has to keep up their communications. It's instinctive. As soon as you start losing this match, to stop talking, and they cannot afford to do that at all. They have not been playing together nearly as long as this Rockbridge squad has, and so hopefully they can, keep a cool head. Their backs are against the wall, but they together, like you said earlier, you mentioned in the team picks advance, they've got a really good fighting composition as a 5 versus 5. We'll see if they can just zone in on that when it comes to later games.
He made a very good point there. Battle High School starting off the season with barely even 5 players, having to mix and match players. This is probably the final iteration of their roster, but really wasn't only solidified till maybe the 7th, 6th week in the league. So that is pretty insane, especially when you take account how inexperienced some of these players are. See the engagement with Zach on to kill XL in the bot lane.
Yeah, nice flash, but the wrong direction. He will still get out as all of the CC misses. And finally, Jeffrey showing up, a nice stun card into the knockup. The ball being used just to kind of sidestep a little bit, and the kill will get finished off by Jeffrey there. He's actually diving deeper with his ultimate onto Cameron here. He will get caught up, but not enough damage from this Swain alone. Finally, his team shows up, but it's too late. The tower will go down to Rockbridge.
And that's just the point of what we traditionally see from Rockbridge. They win the side lanes, they put Andrew Apostle in the top lane just to split push. In this situation, Fateful Sam and Gabriel Clap just can't respond. And then from the rest of the round of the map, they rotate very, very well, which again, in Twisted Fate, they have so much ability to do so with his ultimate. He's able to teleport practically anywhere on the map from that mid lane. And Battle just left to respond. They don't have any room to make any plays of their own.
And here's what Battle needs to do. Finally an opening for them. They're collapsing onto the Kled here, but he'll have his ultimate available, and he goes so fast away. It's basically the same as using a Scion ult to run, just using it to stay safe, putting so much pressure on up until the very last second. And something that is really impressive that has been pulled off here by Rockbridge is the 1-3-1 composition. They have Kled in the top lane, their bot lane, and jungler in the middle, and then Justin PillXL is split pushing on the TF in the bot lane, and that is very hard for these team fighting comps to deal with because they need to either hard commit to a fight, and their only hard engage is the Zac. So really, they're at the hands of Strumpy to force a fight when Rockbridge are in the side lanes.
And following the last Dragon objective, that being the Infernal, which gives a permanent attack and ability power buff across all members, Rockbridge still currently has a significant lead over Battle High School. Not a single member has given up more than 1 death in the game. Yeah,
very traditional look from Rockbridge High School right now. And again, just comes back to their experience. They've played so much longer than Battle. They've been coached very, very well, and they've just had so much time practicing the same kind of strategy. And Battle right now doesn't have an answer. And when we're talking about experience, you can't discount Evan737, that being Evan Young, the support for Battle High School. He's played this game, I believe, since December.
That's
and
right.
Here he is, made his way from the B team, not even on the team, to the B team, made his spot from the 18 roster by week 2. And, Charbel, his 80 carry, I said before, he's learned this game probably the fastest anyone has probably ever seen. You got to take a look back to the semifinals on that Soraka pick, expertly positioning himself on the outside of the fight, keeping his teammates alive. You're just not quite having that same impact on this Morgana, specifically because they don't really have the damage.
Yeah, and again, talking about that 1-3-1 comp, Rockbridge is executing it right now. So we have this Kled in the bot lane pushing, actually getting collapsed on. This is what Battle need to do. They need to find someone caught out and just punish it and then go back and defend the objective. Right now they're collapsing onto this Kled who's actually not dishing out a ton of damage yet. It doesn't look like he'll be able to remount. There we go. They will finish him off, and really well played. That's exactly what Battle needs to do in the situation.
Yeah, no Dark Quacker played there. doesn't look like Rockbridge is going to get too much for 3 members of Battle being in the bot side, not securing any other objectives yet.
Yeah, and even though Rockbridge are about 10,000 gold ahead at this point, you know, they kind of misplayed that. If the enemy team is committing onto your Kled, you need to just pressure the Baron. You have a clear numbers advantage in that top lane, and so
just look at the vision control as well.
Exactly.
If we want to take a look at what each of the teams actually sees, Rockbridge's vision control right now is so much better than Battle's. They're able to see so much of the map that Battle is not. This is currently what Battle sees. If you look at the mini-map at the bottom right, and if you compare that to what Rockbridge sees, it's so much vision.
yeah, night and day. After they reset, Rockbridge took full control of that top side behind the Baron pit, and that's going to be so crucial for the upcoming Baron. It is live, and they haven't put a lot of pressure on it yet, but they show clear intent to definitely do so.
Yeah, if there has to be the one fault of this Rockbridge roster, it's sometimes their ability to stall out games longer than they need to.
Yeah, but with the vision control, they see Scrumpy alone in her jungle. She will make it under the tower, but finished off by Jeffrey, and no punish coming in here from her team. It looks like Kled is in the area, maybe looking to fight. Gangplank here to help clear the waves. But now, Rockbridge has a 5v4 situation, and it looks like they will transition that into the Baron.
Exactly. Looking at the minimap right now, it looks like we could see almost both teams' vision with how much of the jungle we could see, but that's still only Rockbridge's vision at the moment.
Yeah, Ezreal actually getting a kill onto Cameron Ruling Ocean, who was stuck under the tower. Kled going in to cut them off. The Ezreal doing so much work in this mid game. MF escaping with her life, but now for sure, either this mid tower or the Baron will go down, as there's no one left from Battle to really defend. The Zac is up, so we might look for some kind of steal here, but Rockbridge will push down this mid tower.
And with that last turret objective taken, let's take a moment to talk about this Rockbridge bottom lane. Michael XM, currently 3 kills, 0 deaths, and 5 eliminations, but that is not to say that Sean Yu, also 0 kills, 1 death, 8 assists. They've made a tremendous impact on this entire game. I love their bot lane so much because it's all about calculated aggression.
Yeah, and while they're taking the Baron here, more of that calculated aggression, the Janna just zoning, and actually, Rockbridge are going to respect the Smite steal from Scrumpy. Everyone has respawned from Battle, and like we keep saying, their team fight is very strong, so with them in the area, Rockbridge are just going to respect that and back off. Probably reset, look for another pick, and then go back to the Baron again, but Battle able to stall this out a little bit longer. Yeah,
which they definitely need. You're looking specifically at the Ezreal, that being Michael Zhu. The Ezreal currently sitting on 3 items, going for that double tier build. Already finished his Archangel Staff. When you compare him to Sherbel, that being Polly, he's only completed 1 item. He is so much weaker. And how long are they going to have to stall out this game to even come close to being even in some of the damage output for both these rosters? You got to wonder. But again, if there's one fault that Rockbridge has, it's definitely stalling out games longer than they need to. And in Battle's and for Battle's case this time, it's actually very much so in their favor.
Yeah, when I've talked to a few of the Rockbridge players, even when they do have these leads, something that they've said is that they're too afraid to throw, right? In their past, they might have been too aggressive or too uncoordinated and accidentally thrown a lead that they had. And so they're playing very safe and just splitting this map up again. Twisted Fate in the top lane, VexQ on the Kled with Teleport in the bot lane. They're just going to keep pressuring this. They don't feel like they need the Baron right now, and they're just going to keep pressuring the side lanes.
You can hear the call-outs going on behind us right now. Rockbridge very vocal about their performance. Just something that normally happens when you are on the winning side. Currently, Rockbridge with a commanding lead, 47,000 gold to Battle's 35. Just like that, they take their 6th turret of the game, 0 for Battle right now. And again, turrets award bonus gold for the entire team. And get you that much closer to eliminating the Nexus.
Yeah, Gangplank alone in this bot lane. He has not done well in this matchup so far, but he will, at the inhibitor tower now, be able to hold on a little bit longer.
And the craziest part about this game is, other than that 5-man teleport in the bot lane, we haven't seen a single real team fight yet. It's just continually been picks of numbers advantage across the board, and it's something that, when you think about Rockbridge, they're very, very good at finding those advantages anywhere on the map.
Yeah, with all the ward coverage, they've set themselves up really well to just rotate freely through these jungle areas. And, you know, they're pushing in the waves constantly. They have full control. They know where all of the enemies are. And with all that information, they can make the right play every time. And that's something that we haven't seen a lot of the teams been able to do yet in this league.
Yeah, if you're Battle right now, and if you're not trying to really think about how you're going to win this game, you might be thinking about the next game specifically. You look at the Kane pick, you look at how much impact Jeffrey has had on this game. You know, we talked about maybe they shouldn't leave the Kane up, especially on this 8.1, 8.10 patch. I mean, he's almost Flame Horizon Scrumpy in farm in the jungle position. That's very, very significant.
Yeah, and one thing we have to point out is that we mentioned that Scrumpy only plays a few of these tank champions, but after the Trundle and Kane, so does Jeffrey. So maybe that's something that you can either take away from him or force him maybe through the pick ban to also play a tank just to get a more even matchup in this jungle. Because like you mentioned, he is almost about 80 CS up in the jungle, which is even more than lane CS. It does give you more gold and experience. And it looks like Owltime pushing very aggressively onto Faithful Salmons here. He will flash over the wall, but only to meet an Ezreal Q in the back of the head. Not looking good right now in a 4v5 situation.
And when you're that behind, it's rough to even get into your own jungle. As you can see, vision control. Rockbridge has almost all vision control. This is exactly what you would see on battle screen. You see how much fog of war, gray, dark area is on the screen. But meanwhile, Rockbridge is nearly every corner of the map alongside with their minion waves pushing. So they know exactly where the enemy team is.
Yeah, and we're going to look for Scrumpy to maybe make a steal here. Going in too early, though, with no vision, she just has to guess, and she'll get taken down with the threat of the smite gone. Actually, Cameron Really Motion flashing in to defend him. They're going to look to fight this. And like we talked about, a nice team fight, but Ezreal dealing so much damage. It looks like he's not going to be able to tank long enough, and only Owltime going down on Rockbridge will mean the Baron.
Yeah, first real team fight we're seeing in this game. 4 of the 5 members of Battle trying to contest the objective. They just don't have the damage, though. Baron will go over to Rockbridge High School. First replay of the game, though, guys, brought to you guys by Veterans United. Again, Baron objective being taken down pretty quickly right now, though, by Rockbridge. They know they have the advantage. They know they're strong enough to take any fight. We're seeing the attempted steal by Scrumpy. Again, there's no vision in the pit, so she jumps over, trying her best to maybe get the objective steal, keep her team in the game a little bit longer. And after that failed steal, though, you got to wonder, is this the right chance? Is this the right time to make this call? 4 members of Battle High School, or the other 3, I guess, make the flash over the wall, trying to contest. This is their chance. All the members are grouped. They're not going to be able to disengage from this, but they just don't have the damage to actually contest and actually take down enough members of that roster.
Yeah, and 2 things I want to point out there. One, Gabriel Clapp in the top lane had his teleport, and I can't help to think that maybe if he showed up to that fight, they would have been able to pressure and maybe get a few more kills in return and maybe prevent the Baron. And another thing is that Paulie on this MF used his ultimate to kind of shred the Baron, hoping for the steal. And if it was used in the fight, it also could have turned the favor. So just a little miscommunication there maybe on Battle side.
All right, now, though, it is Rockbridge's game to lose. 18-6, up almost 20,000 gold and 6 towers. Make that 7 towers.
Yeah, and they're going to go right back to that 1-3-1 composition. Like I said, they're getting collapsed on in the top lane. Looks like no kill onto Kill XL here. And meanwhile, in that bot lane, Kled is doing damage onto the tower. So a lot of damage onto XIN here. Overextending in the mid lane where they were weaker. A little bit of a heal coming down. The General will be dropped. And there we go. Evan 737 will get picked off. Rockbridge now with the inhibitor in the bottom lane and a nice creep wave. Might look to finish this game, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and take the top inhibitor as well.
Yeah, playing it safe. Like you said, they don't want to throw this game away. It'd be pretty hard to give away a game like this, but this right now, it's Battle's last stand. 3 members left alive. Popping the GA.
Yeah, Galaxy Fox with his GA pop, just zoning the enemy team, while everyone else from Rockbridge finishes off the Nexus, and that will be Game 1 going over to Rockbridge High School.
Yeah, very commanding victory from Rockbridge. Essentially, kind of what we've come to expect from that roster, except for they win their side lanes, they rotate, they find the picks where they need to, and that's traditionally how they've always won their games. So coming into the next game, it's going to be up to Battle to really, really make some moves either early on or in the draft specifically. I love how aggressive they were early on in the game. Even when they lost first blood, they were able to make proactive plays when the teams were even. And that's the biggest problem, though, for Battle High School, is can they stay even to a point where they can actually win some of those team fights? And on Rockbridge's hand, all they have to do is play their game. If Battle can't keep up, they'll never be able to walk away with a win tonight.
Yeah, and just like that, Rockbridge proving exactly why they are the #1 seed in this league with a very commanding victory. We're looking at the damage charts right now. So much damage coming out of Michael Zhu, XM, 27,000 damage. Closest competitor comes out to the 16,000 from Charbel.
Yeah, so with that, though, we're going to set the stage up, though, for the next game. Again, this is the best of 3, so Rockbridge needs one more to walk away as the #1 team in the Columbia Ukatsu Jefferson City eSports League. So hopefully, maybe Battle's going to try to play spoiler and walk away with one win. We'll see if Coach Josh Cobb, the coach of Rockbridge High School, stays true to his word and leaves up Cameron's Vladimir pick in the bet they made. He has it in writing that he made last Sunday. So maybe we'll get to see a Vladimir next game. Maybe we won't. But either way, we have some fun stuff planned for intermission, and we'll see you guys in just a couple of minutes for the next game. Thank you, guys.
Oh, wow. Hard to grasp that that was 8 months ago at our first ever eSports exhibition match. This was before the 9-week season, and of course this tournament that you were having here for you tonight back in September of 2007 right here in Hickman Auditorium. How do you feel about 2017? Thank you. Ben, how do you feel about this whole journey we've been on?
Yeah, well, specifically, I think what really sums up how long it's been is Jeffrey Mullen, Galaxy Fox. He was actually someone who went to our summer camps a while ago, and in that video, he didn't have a beard. Even in that picture right there, actually, he doesn't have a beard. If he comes out here, you'll see he's got a full-grown beard. So it's definitely been a little bit from how long these guys have been playing, and for the most part, though,
Yes.
we've really gone through a lot of different things. These players have grown so much. Again, probably when we just started this league, when we first started interacting with these high school students at their clubs, I guarantee you, maybe 2 of them would have gone on stage to do that Just Dance. And how many players, how many kids do we just have on stage doing Just Dance a little bit ago?
Count.
Yeah, like 15,
honestly.
almost 20 kids on stage dancing to Footloose. I don't know if teachers in the crowd, if you guys know of how many students would have done that before this league started. So if that really tells you guys how much this has actually changed the students and just how I guess for the better, I guess, if you look how happy they were.
I know we talk about this all the time, Ben, but as a 2-person company starting this league, whether or not we become the premier esports, youth esports organization in America, I'm just so grateful to have been able to do this season with these kids. Jeffrey's a senior. I know he's graduating this year. A bunch of other seniors as well, as indicated from that Hickman banquet we had just moments ago before the match started. This has been a phenomenal experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world, despite us being just a lowly little startup here in Columbia, Missouri. So.
Yeah, otherwise, though, you guys don't want to hear about us. You guys want to hear about Rockbridge. You guys want to hear about Battle. Maybe you guys want to hear about Hickman, too. We'll have to hear you guys.
And
I know Hickman's excited for next season. Same with Jeff City. Again, we can't wait to do some awards. Not tonight. We'll probably announce them later. But specifically, we're starting to announce our first and second team. I think every school will be excited with some of the players that we've elected and voted for. But jumping in, though, into the second game, players are just finishing up the pro draft right now, meaning, once again, they're banding away. They're picking the champions they want to play. And what's very unique about this is the entire season was a best-of-1 series, meaning they played one game, and that was it for the week. In this series specifically, though, it's a best-of-3, meaning they play multiple games in a row to decide who comes out the victor. So we really start to see a whole new level of planning and strategizing. You think about what happened last game, you think about how many games were played this season, what the current meta is, and it really will affect the strategy for these teams coming into this next game. Does Battle elect to pick some of the different champions? Do they take away the Kane specifically from Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen? Is it the bot lane that's the problem? Exactly what picks do you take away from Rockbridge when you're thinking about the second game? Because championship is on the line here. And I think going back to the locker rooms for these players after this game, you can really feel the tension. You can really feel the pressure that's on the line for these players, because I think it finally set in for them that this is the game that decides who is the best in the first season of the CPS Jefferson City Ukatsu eSports League. And this is their chance to go down in history as the first team to play in this 9-week season live and be the best.
Yeah, the victor of tonight's best of 3 will be walking home with the 2018 trophy. speaking specifically about this matchup right now, you have to wonder if they'll be banning out that Kane pick, thanks to the recent buffs to specifically Kane junglers, as well as maybe they're regretting not banning Janna away from Sean Yu, the support for Rockbridge High School. So, what do you think, Ben Bruce, about the recent picks and maybe future bans in the next match?
I know I talked to Battle's coach ahead of time, and they really had to decide. They're looking at the Janna and the Karma. They decided to ban away the Karma because Justin in the mid lane has been so effective on that, and it really does just kind of negate Cameron in the mid lane. Cameron likes to play very aggressive, and on that Karma, you can just kind of get through the lane phase and support your team like Justin usually does. And so they decided to get rid of that and give away the Janna. And in retrospect, it might not have been the best decision. The Janna did a lot of work in the early game to keep Evan at super low HP, just constantly a threat of kill from that Ezreal. And so, I think that maybe they want to shake that up. Just leave the Karma open. Make Justin will play more passive on that pick compared to the TF. So maybe it'll neutralize him a little bit. I also want to see them put Cameron on someone who can hard carry. I want to see him either get the Vladimir or get a pick that can be so abusive in this lane, because he needs to press his advantage. He is their star player. Him and Gabriel really need to play aggressive early game champs that can get an early lead, and I know I've seen them this weekend. Battle can close if they do get that lead. I just want to see them take initiative.
Yeah, and coming into the second game, Coach Josh Cobb, the coach of Rockbridge, did make the bet that they'd leave Vladimir up for Cameron. Again, for those guys who don't really understand what this means, Cameron being a top 100 Vladimir in North America as a Plat 2 player, he is in the top 3%, top 4% of players in all of North America on the ranked solo queue ladder. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how many of you guys are top 4% in, it's something in North America.
Yeah.
So that's really, really kind of accomplishment for Cameron, who's a sophomore in high school, and coming into this game, he's really going to try to prove it. So if players are ready in the picks and bans, we're ready to jump forward. Don't know if they are. So
and of course, despite Cameron being one of the top players for this specific champion, we can't forget that League of Legends truly is a team game. We saw in the semifinal match, Battle versus Hickman, Battle came alive, and as Ben and I were casting, we said they leveled up. They were firing on all cylinders, synergizing very well, and with the shot calls, they were immaculate. We're going to see if they can reignite that spark that they have not too long ago against Hickman here tonight in Game 2 against Rockbridge High School, because again, this is for everything. This is for the district championships, the trophy, and of course, the pride.
Yeah, and like I said before, how they did that against Hickman this weekend was picking those aggressive lanes. And so we'll see if they're able to get those in this pick and ban. It looks like the Vlad hasn't been banned away yet. There's one more ban for Rockbridge's side. We'll see what it is. The Trundle again, just denied from Jeffrey there in the jungle. And the Zac ban from Rockbridge will leave Vlad open.
Yeah, the targeting Scrumpy instead, though. Again, we know Anusa's champion pool isn't the deepest, so taking away 2 of her best champions will significantly affect what that looks like. In the top lane, though, again, this is pro draft, so this isn't exactly the order that they pick their champions. But we are seeing Gabriel Clapp getting his Aurelia. And again, look at the semifinals. How much impact he had early on with Aurelia, how he translated that in the team fights was phenomenal. Really excited to see Gabe really come into his own on this pick. But again, if they're leaving the Vladimir up in the pro draft, that means they probably had to pick it in the first rotation, meaning that just leaves so many more picks for Rockbridge to pick later on.
Yeah, and Rockbridge picking up the Swain and the Hecarim for their top side of the map. The Swain, usually picked mid because it's a safer lane. His early lane is very weak.
Yeah, the Cameron.
Yeah, so Swain in the top lane, like we said, Faithful Salmon needs to play his aggressive Ribbon Aurelia. And into that Swain, that's a pretty nice matchup for him. And if he can pick on the Swain, he can get a nice lead. Looking into the jungle, though, with Anusa's 2 champions being banned, she reverts back to the Rammus, something that she's played a few times before, but not as popular as the other
Not as popular. And we're going to see the Rise pick going over to Justin Zhang. Again, Rockbridge on the right side, the red side for the second game. That is the answer that they found for the Vladimir pick. If you guys remember, Cameron's only played Vladimir twice this season. Once was at the All-Star match at the Columbia College Midwest Campus Clash between all the high schools, and the last time was Week 9 against Hickman, which they accidentally left it up because Hickman didn't know that Cameron was actually playing, coming back from again, the wisdom teeth thing, but and he went off on that Vladimir. So we're going to see if Battle can bounce back in Game 2 with this Vladimir.
I also wanted to mention a quick pick for Rockbridge High School, the Hecarim pick for Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen. This actually goes back, through our history of knowing Jeffrey. This is a classic Jeffrey pick. He hasn't picked it recently in the Ukatsu High School eSports League, but this is truly a throwback to one of his favorite champions. It's pretty much a centaur that can charge straight into battle and quite literally fear all of his enemies. So I'm very curious to see what kind of aggression we'll see early. Normally not the most healthy jungler when it comes to first clears, but of course I'm sure he's going to play aggressive anyway. That's just his style.
Yeah, and looking at these team compositions, if the past game, the game previous, we saw a lot of meta picks, a lot of, team comps that make sense. Here, we're just seeing all of that thrown out the window. Everyone's picking their comfort pick. Everyone is just going for what they think personally they can win with, and then hopefully translate that into a team win through the solo lanes.
Yeah,
so,
I really like that, though.
Yeah, Pauly going back to this vein, traditionally doesn't do too well into the Ezreal, but, excuse me, something that he performs very well on just in these games. We saw him play this against Hickman, actually, to great success. Paired with that Soraka, he weaves in and out of the fights so well, and so we'll look for him in this game to make big plays.
Yeah, exactly. The bot lane, that being Evan Young and Charbel, doing such a great job in the semifinals against Hickman. And like you said before, though, Vayne, not a meta pick right now. Traditionally not going to do very well into picks like Arise, like the Ezreal, the laners of Rockbridge, because Vayne is so low range. She doesn't just get really close as a marksman to deal damage. It also takes so long for her to scale up. Now in the game against Hickman, she did find 2 early kills with the pressure from Scrumpy. Scrumpy is not on Zac this time around, so it might be a different story for the bot lane. Again, back to the mid lane and the top lane, though. Again, comfort picks for the Clapp brothers. Again, I don't know if we mentioned it, but Gabriel Clapp is actually the older brother of Cameron Clapp. So very excited to see both Clapp brothers on this A roster. And yeah, exactly.
Whether that works out better or worse in terms of sibling rivalries, we'll have to see. But again, going back to the bottom lane for Battle side, these picks for both Charbel and Evan, again, namely the Soraka pick for Evan. We know he is very capable of playing this champion that consistently gives heals to the rest of his team. We know Evan's really great about positioning. We saw highlights from the Hickman versus Battle game in the semifinals, and we hope to see a repeat performance from him tonight, keeping his team alive. And of course, I do also want to talk about this interesting Rammus pick into a team that might be considered maybe more ability power damage. The Rammus pick is a pure armor wielding type of champion, but not too much attack damage to combat that armor in this team composition from Rockbridge High School.
Yeah, I'd have to say that pick comes just out of necessity. With the Zac and the Sejuani being banned, there's not many other champions that Scrumpy has shown that she can play throughout this
Maybe the Olaf, which isn't bad into all the CC that Rockbridge has, but again,
yeah, I
not
think
a super comfortable pick.
as the Olaf was played, you're right, but was it played, to enough success? Olaf is a champion that needs to get a lead early and just press that advantage. And that's really, not the play style that Scrumpy is used to and likes playing. I think, again, her 2 main champions are these tanks, and it's very different. It's hard to adjust to that Olaf style if it's not something that you're, accustomed to.
Actually, though, before the game actually started, though, we did see Coach Salmons and Anusa working on the Rammus pre-game. So that is something that they had pocket pick. They might have expected them to take away those picks from Anusa. So I like the Rammus pick, even though she didn't look too comfortable on it early on in the season. So for Battle High School, though, they're getting their comfort picks. They're getting picks that essentially they kind of got the team they wanted, essentially, for what this game is. Actually, it might very well be the last game of this season. They're getting their comfort pick. So for Rockbridge's side, they knew exactly what Battle was going to pick here. And so we're going to see here, while these aren't traditional picks, these aren't picks that we've seen from Rockbridge too often this season, except for maybe the Ezreal. We're going to see if this was their answer to the picks that they knew Battle was going to select for this game too.
Yeah, the lane to watch in this game is definitely going to be the mid. I don't think we've seen Rise at all yet from KillXL. I'm not sure how proficient on this champion he is. And we saw Rockbridge last game had a nice 1-3-1 composition, but with Swain in the side lane, he's really not your best side laner without any mobility and minimal wave clear. So they'll probably look to just use the Rise ultimate to maybe get that Hecarim Swain into the back line for team fights and less of a split push threat. But like I was saying before, the Rise into this Vladimir, if the Rise, who's relatively short range, doesn't play it right in the early game, Cameron will run over him on the Vlad. So, hopefully he's prepared for this lane.
Yeah, this Vladimir one trick, hopefully we get to see some spicy plays, see him flash 1v5 multiple times and somehow come out on top. So.
And going back to earlier in the season when we actually worked one-on-one with Cameron, what Ben and I really honed in on is the ability to take advantage in your lane, and once you have that push, to roam down or up to your other allies to help them out. Of course, this time we do see a Rise pick from Justin Zhang, Kill XL, who has his own sort of half of a map ultimate ability again. So he's going to be able to catch up to these fights just as quickly, even if he does get shoved in. Ultimately, it does come down to the macro shot calling from both teams, seeing who can take that early trade. And if we get another lead like in that Hickman game for Charbel and for Evan, we could see an early Vayne coming into play and dealing tons of damage to this team.
Yeah, so for potentially the last time this season, we're going to introduce this roster to you guys. They did the first game, got them on stage and everything. Oh, actually, crazy shenanigans going early on. Very unfortunate for Battle High School. The invade coming in from Rockbridge, picking up first blood onto Charbel. He didn't burn any summoners, but it is first blood gold going over into the Rise pockets. That being Justin Zhang of Rockbridge.
Yeah, and unfortunately, on, I believe it's 8.9, the cost of tier got increased. And if it was any patch before that, Justin on this Rise would have been able to pick up his tier immediately. So he won't be able to get that buy off. He will pick up a nice Ruby Crystal to start this lane, so a little more sustain in the early part of this laning phase. So he probably will turn that into the Roa later. Yeah. But a nice little lead for him getting that first blood.
Yeah, arguably where it needed to go early on into Cameron. Cameron is, honestly, we've seen it. He might be even a couple elos above when he's playing as Vladimir. He's definitely a very different player on this pick. So Justin might need it in the mid lane. That early blood going over to the right person.
Yeah, and something interesting here. Gabriel Clapp in the top lane playing this Aurelia actually got a ward onto Jeffrey's red. So Battle doing a little bit more proactive scouting. But in the bot lane, it looks like there's a cheese setup, and Pauly's going to walk blind into the binding, eating so much damage from the Ezreal. A nice flash over the wall, and he'll live. But, maybe in that Soraka lane, he'll heal up enough. But that's a nice start. With the invade and the early cheese from Rockbridge. And it looks like they're waiting for Evan to walk through too. They haven't seen him yet. A lot of pressure already in this bot lane. The binding being dodged out, and finally they're going to get to some standard lanes here. But
yeah, might have heard what we said at the beginning about bot lane getting ahead. Rockbridge doing everything in their power to put Battle's bot lane behind. Charbel forced to burn his flash. That's a little blink ability he has every 5 minutes, and already giving away the first blood. Definitely a rough start for that Vayne in that lane, which again, I want to reiterate, that is not an easy lane for Battles.
Yeah, they will have to cede almost complete lane control here, but luckily for him, he's paired with that Soraka, so they're going to be down substantial experience, but they're not going to have to base or anything yet. So, that's the positive.
Small trade going up in the top lane. Fateful Salmon, Gabriel Clapp, again, very proficient on that Aurelia pick. I think it's up 10 early on.
And here we see another invade coming in again from Jeffrey. Galaxy Fox Mullen starting to take away camps as quickly as possible. As soon as the 3-minute mark, this one being the blue buff taken away from Scrumpy, who is currently working on her Wraiths.
Yeah, and Fateful Salmon pressured out of this lane by the Swain early. Not something, this new Aurelia is usually a little bit weaker in the early game, so she looks to scale.
Yeah.
And Swain putting a lot of pressure down. It looks like they're actually going to go ahead and try and dive in the top lane, and that will be successful. A nice early dive there, so early. Level 3 from Jeffrey after taking up the blue buff, sorry.
Yeah, I want to point it out though as well, Scrumpy for the first time being aggressive on her own. She actually stole away Jeffrey's blue buff on the other side of the map. Again, that early ward by Fateful Salmon, Gabriel Clapp, allowed Scrumpy to know that he was on the top side. She got Jeffrey's blue buff for free. This might be the first time Jeffrey's actually been invaded. Of course, though, Jeffrey does get the early kick off in the top lane, so it is a 2-0 start for Rockbridge.
Yeah, but a nice recognition of what was going to happen, right? They know Jeffrey plays aggressive, and so they just commit to a little bit of vertical jungling, trading blue buffs. Looks like there's a fight. Oh, a net flash away from the mid lane.
Scrumpy being baited once again by Galaxy Fox. She
will
does
actually
get her,
secure
yeah,
the
gets her
Gromp.
bump.
A
Yes.
little bit of a misplay there by the Hecarim, who probably could have comboed his Q with his auto attack, but now it is maybe going a little bit aggressive. Vlad is in the area as Justin was forced to recall, but nothing happening yet.
I'm excited, though, to see her really learn and adapt. She's come so far in just the last couple of weeks. So she actually came to our League of Legends Academy days, kind of like a boot camp where we do one-on-one training for people who want to get better at League of Legends. And she's come so very far in just the last week. First person ever to invade Jeffrey and get away with it. And likewise, though, rough start, though, for Battle High School. Both sidelines down significantly in farm. Kind of picking losing matchups. They knew that, though, coming into it when they wanted to pick these comfortable champions. Of course, are they going to give up too much? Are they going to be able to bounce back, though? Because it's, again, this is what Rockbridge wants. They always want to win in their sidelines and then translate that across the map.
Yeah, typically for Rockbridge High School, they always set themselves up for success in the bottom lane. We also know that both Justin and Andrew are typically more passive types of players in the top and mid, and they kind of come down whenever they can to aid Michael, who always in this Ukatsu eSports League seems to get ahead of his competitors.
Something important to note is that VexQ on the Swain has already hit level 6 to Fateful Salmon's 4. So that dive doing a lot of work, putting this Swain so far ahead, almost 2 levels up, but it looks like there's a possible collapse going down in this jungle. A nice dodge there by Cameron with the pool, and the Ignite down onto Galaxy Fox, but the Rammus will be finished off. A nice flash away, but the Ignite will finish that kill. A trade going down, and the Morgana flash bind will miss. I don't know if Cameron, there you go, yeah, he will escape with the extra move speed, and just a 1-for-1 trade in the river there.
Yeah, first blood for Battle, though, going over to Cameron Clap. That's honestly where the gold needs to go.
Yeah, and that will give this bot lane on Battle side a little bit of breathing room playing in that 1v2. They'll be able to catch up a little bit in CS here. And, you know, with Morgana burning the flash, there's also a lot of pressure not getting anything from it. Something that hopefully Battle can recognize and then take advantage of.
But you see how quickly Sean Yu is to act up on the mid laner, easily confident in his own AD carry's abilities to hold the lane completely on his own. He's not afraid of Soraka or Vayne, in this case Polly or Evan, going in early. So he says, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go top, or I'm gonna go mid lane and assist in any way I can. You know, going a little aggressive in this situation by burning a flash, but I think well played and well executed in terms of communication and rotations.
Yep, a lot of faith in Michael Zhu, the bot laner for Rockbridge. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense, though. Michael is a kind of a multi-game athlete, so to speak. He's actually a master tier Overwatch player. I'm very excited about the upcoming Overwatch League for Columbia, Missouri. But for the most part, though, again, this bot lane is right where they need to be, up by almost 30 CS. With that pressure, Rockbridge feels comfortable rotating to the first neutral objective of the game, that being the Earth Drake. The Earth Drake, of course, is the one that grants bonus damage to other minions and structures throughout the game. So if they get this objective essentially for free, again, pretty good look for Rockbridge. Arguably the second most valued Drake in the game. Again, actually, we're looking at a team like Rockbridge, a team that doesn't have the most objective killing ability. It's a very good Drake, actually. They're not the fastest siegers, aren't the fastest turret killers. So again, a very good pickup for Rockbridge. Coming up on the 8-minute mark, up by over 3,000 gold.
Yeah, wow.
4 kills.
A solo kill in the top lane now. Not what we usually see when you know, Swains are picked. And here we go. The dive.
Scrumpy's so
a nice
low,
top,
though.
but a flash away. The auto. The Q will miss, and the Scrumpy returning the kill. Nice play by her to just secure that. She did have to burn her flash, but, you know, finally punishing the Swain for playing so far forward. He has had that pink ward in the top bush, and so he's just been playing so confidently.
Yeah, good outplay there by Scrumpy. Unfortunately, though, Camera Clap roaming up to back up his jungler, gets all the way there and finds out Scrumpy just kills Andrew Apostle, that being VexQ on his own. But Andrew not too far behind, also up by 30 farm and 2 kills over Gabriel Clapp. Andrew's in a great position in this game on that Swain pick.
Yeah, and Battle High School's bot lane did get priority on the wave, so they're going to go ahead and deny a lot of vision here from Rockbridge. Hopefully maybe Scrumpy will return to this lane now. It looks like she is on the bottom side of the map. Maybe looking for a bot play now that a lot of summoner spells have been burned on the top side of the map. Swain's teleport actually still down for a few seconds here. I don't know if they'll capitalize on that. Yeah, it just came up, so maybe we'll see a play in the bot lane soon.
If I'm not mistaken, back in the semifinal game where Gabriel played Aurelia, Didn't really come online this whole mid-game point where he really excelled at picking apart the carries in the team fights, and maybe that's something we'll see later on in the match tonight.
Yeah, exactly. In that top 5 video, he did pick up basically a quad throw. Think a teleport coming in for
Yeah,
Fateful
here we
Salmon.
go. Nice taunt onto the Morgana again with no flash because it was burned earlier. The Aurelia TPing in from behind will get bound though, and Charbel having to flash on that Vayne, and now everyone's just kind of abandoning ship on Battle's side. The reply teleport from the Swain, even though he doesn't have ultimate yet, is a huge threat, and here's that Rise roaming down. So now 4 people from Rockridge in the bottom lane in Battle, not able to defend this tower. The Ezreal's actually pushing this alone though. I don't know if they realize that. Oh, a nice bind though. This rock ult burned just to make sure that Polly doesn't go down, but a lot of pressure being put down only from 4 people on Rockridge.
Yeah, again, another excellent macro call by both teams, calling all the teams down, calling all the members down. Jeffrey, though, the only member not being in the bot lane, will secure probably the Rift Herald on his own. But in that fight, though, Evan Young, a pivotal member of that team of Battle, keeping so many of his members alive, only inches away from death. And that's what he did such a good job in the semifinals. Unfortunately, though, Battle is so far behind in farm. That was the play they tried to make. They weren't able to get anything out of it, though.
And I think a lot of discipline showed for
Nice binding there onto Cameron, using the pool early. He's not able to wait for his ultimate now, and it looks like Scrumpy caught in a bad position, overextending. She will get away though with her Predator, able to escape that. But meanwhile, because they have eyes on Scrumpy, Jeffrey is going to go ahead and just take away CS, but a fight is also breaking out in the bot lane. It looks like Battle bot lane tried to roam up to help out their jungler and just get caught by that Rise and the Morgana. It's falling apart here very fast for Battle.
Such a good job by Rockbridge, just having confidence and faith in their own players, good communication, knowing that they have a numbers advantage. Gabriel Clapp pushing alone in the top lane, collapsing 4 on the 2 in the bot lane. That puts them at a 7-2 lead right now. Not the best of looks for Battle, but again, if there anyone is going to come back in this situation, it would be Battle just because of the champions they've selected. Gabriel Clapp and Cameron Clapp will both come online in just a couple of minutes. Usually they really try to find those picks and really win some team fights that don't look like they'll win towards the middle parts of the games on these champions.
Yeah, and like you said, a few games previous in the season, Cameron has been given this Vlad, and even though it doesn't look strong right now because of how well Rockridge is playing as a team, once he gets his core items, he is a monster. So hopefully if he can get to that 3 or 4 item point on this Vladimir, he will be unstoppable. He knows exactly how to play those late game team fights. So if they can get to that point, I have faith that Cameron can carry them.
And that's the whole point, though. Can Battle hold out long enough for their carries to come online? Down so far in farm, in the top lane and in the bot lane.
Yeah, almost 5,000 gold down, actually. That's a huge discrepancy,
Yeah,
especially
the
this early
12-minute
in the
mark.
game. Yeah, almost unheard of, and it just comes from every lane being that much further ahead. It looks like a dive might be happening soon in this top lane. Hecarim will get spotted on the ward now, but with the Ghost, it might be too late. A nice hit from Jeffrey's Galaxy Fox, dodging out, almost getting the return kill though.
Almost.
Yeah, missing his
Almost.
ultimate there. That could have spelled disaster for him if they had traded, but the Rift Herald will be dropped top, will take the tower, and meanwhile, Rockridge are actually collapsing bot lane.
Yeah, plays all around the map.
Flash bind onto
unfortunate.
Soraka. Not able to do anything, and Polly trying to weave in and out of this fight, get something in return, but 1 versus 3, there's not much you can do in that situation.
Yeah, great job by Rockridge there, isolating honestly the important pick there, being Evan on that Soraka. Did such a good job a couple days ago.
Yeah, and here's Cameron making a big play, trying to do something for his team who are in such a bad spot. Swain popping the ultimate, will stay alive very long. I don't know if Vlad can fight this. Pops the pool to dodge the ultimate, really well timed by him, but they lost so much damage on that outer turret already. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Rockridge getting the kills in the bot lane are able to take this tower, and that's going to snowball this gold lead even further. And so, at this point, after Rockridge buy, they're going to be in such a deficit this early in the game, I don't know if they're going to be able to fight it.
It's just so thrilling to watch this Rockbridge squad pick apart the rest of Battles as they make fantastic plays both on the macro and micro level. You said finding the right bindings, finding the right time to take down a turret when the other team is rotated all the way to the bot or top side. And again, it's all pretty much attributed to the fact that they've been around as an esports club the longest in this league. They've come so far, especially with the help of not just their coach, but also their club sponsor, keeping them engaged in school, building up a 30, 40 member esports team to have the most contested tryouts among all of the high schools, building such a great team composition and team makeup to be able to do exactly what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Rockford will go ahead and take the Aqua Drake that just spawned. And something I want to point out is we questioned this Rise pick. We hadn't seen it before, but KillXL is 4-0-3 on it right now. So, you know, we can't really criticize it. He's playing it very well in the lane against Cameron. And the Predator being popped right now by Jeffrey, dodging the binding right there by Vladimir, but without the bind, he's in a bad spot. Actually, Jeffrey caught on the wrong side of this fight now. Will get the kill, and with Faithful Salmon showing up, it looks like Morgana's out of position too. Will escape with a nice other binding. Rockridge are looking to collapse on this. Vladimir still putting down a ton of damage, and it looks like Cameron can definitely fight now. He's at a point where he's got the Shirelia's Reverie, a big item for him just to gain initiative in the fights, and then once he gets the Proto Belt, his burst will go up substantially. So I like seeing plays like this out of him. Even though they're behind, he's still keeping them in it.
Yeah, again, as a composition for Battle High School here, they do scale rather well. So the later this game goes, the stronger Poly, Sharpbell is going to get as well. Same with Fateful Salmon, going to come online in the mid game somewhere here. So even though right now they're down by 7,000 gold at 15 minutes, which again is pretty unheard of, they're not out of this game yet.
Yeah, something we need to watch is Evan737 on the Soraka. It's something that, you know, we've seen him have a huge impact in team fights in previous games, and now that they're grouped up, we'll see how effective he's able to be. Actually, Cameron popping the Shirelias there, maybe to try and catch out Morgana, but not able to do anything with it.
And actually, looking at the bot lane, we're seeing the Rise. Justin Zhang actually doing an excellent job on this Rise, a champion that is notoriously pretty hard to play. Excellent job with his combo there.
Yeah, dropping the Ignite as well. Just barely not finishing off. No, it will finish off Poly even through the heal. That's huge because now he has lane priority in the bot lane. He will continue to push this, and I don't think there's anyone to match him right now.
Yeah, definitely mistaken here. Justin Zhang, the senior, this is potentially his last game ever. Really trying to leave an impact on this game, showing that, you know, we talk a lot about Michael, we talk a lot about Jeffrey, but, you know, Justin, he can step up and be the carry that Rockbridge needs in this game. Because
just about to say, he's having his breakout game in this best-of-3 series, and we know that as a team dynamic, Justin is very active in the shot calling. He's always reminding his teammates to stay safe, to not go into careless situations. And I think he's doing a fantastic job of leading his team through these shot calls throughout the entire season and, of course, tonight.
Yeah, one thing to point out is that Battle have very little wave clear, almost none, aside from maybe the Vladimir. So, you know, if they keep getting shoved in with all of these, you know, aggressive, they are still pulling off the 1-3-1. So if they keep getting shoved in like this, it's going to be so hard for them to, you know, keep their turrets up. The top lane already so low, and it looks like Faithful Salmon will get collapsed on again by the Hecarim. We'll just go ahead and move him, pulling him into the Swain. Yep, that will be another kill going over to Rockbridge. It doesn't look like there's anything Battle can really do at this point.
Yeah, once again, just skirmishes being taken all over the map. No team fights breaking out yet, no groups, no group fighting, no team fighting, and just normal Rockbridge things, just winning with numbers, great ganks, great vision control. Yeah, actually coming in at almost the 18-minute mark, up by 12,000 gold. You're looking at professional play, and you talk about a 10,000 gold lead, and that's pretty much impossible to come back from at the professional level. Rockbridge really doing their best to show that they are the #1 team in this league.
Yeah, definitely showing that they just outclass Battle in the laning phase. And so, you know, if you're just, you know, too far behind in lane, it's so hard to do anything team-wise. Battle likes drafting these team fight comps like we saw in game 1 and a little bit here, and it's so hard to pull that off if you're just getting pushed in. You never get to team fight.
Yeah, again, I think they did a very good job early on identifying what their win conditions were. Sharpel Nabahan on the Vayne pick only a couple days ago during the semifinals. Ended the game with like over 12 kills. He had an amazing KDA, really carried his team in damage. He just really put him down, put the pressure on him. Bot lane right now sitting at 0-6-0.
And almost 50 CS behind as well, as Ezreal already has his 2 items completed, going for the 3rd. That second tier item, once he completes that and fully stacks it, is a huge power spike for him. He's going to hit it very soon here.
Yeah, great job by Rockbridge playing to their strengths. Coming to the 20-minute mark, we're about to enter the mid-game portion of this match. And with this lead, Rockbridge is in a pretty good position to take any fight they want. Not too many objectives taken off the board yet, I guess compared to last game. 5 turrets, though, over in favor of Rockbridge. But no inhibitors taken yet. It's a good sign for Battle High School, but as you said before as well, they don't have the wave clear to stall this game out too long. They're going to need to find some picks, force some team fights, and come away with some positive trades if they want to find a foothold in this game.
Yeah, Scrumpy stuck in the Dragon Pit now. Will most likely have to burn Flash. No, is going to eat the Morgue Binding, and that will be the end. No, Soraka coming with a clutch heal, and Vlad finally getting to the team fight he wants, actually finishing off the Ezreal. He will pull just in time, but he's just going to live for 1 second longer. Meanwhile, Paulie trying to do the best he can on this Vayne, but he's too far behind. And with the Swain TPing in from behind, everyone else will be finished off. Evan is getting chased right now through the middle lane, and he will get finished off. That's going to be a 1 for 4 over to Rockbridge. The Baron just spawned 30 seconds ago. It looks like they're got their eyes on it.
Yeah, a little bit of misplay there, though, say massive misplay, actually, by their top laner up Battle. Give it a clap. He had teleport up. He could have responded to his team, at least forced a 5v5, but only one left alive now, not just choosing to pick that fight, and Rockbridge will secure this Baron.
Yeah, this is something we saw in Game 1 as well. When there's a big team fight in the mid-game, Faithful Salmon is not being in to support his team at all. And I can't think that that's not like a communication problem maybe on the side of Battle.
Back at this replay, again in the middle lane, or actually in the mid-river, Scrumpy trapped in the pit, separated from her team. Great dark binding by the Morgana, Shan Yu, Owl Time. Find the pick on Battle's jungler. Instantly, though, Battle chooses to engage, flashing forward with the Vladimir pick, finding the necessary damage to take down Ezreal, that being the main carry for Rockbridge on that Ezreal. But unfortunately, Cameron just doesn't have enough damage, doesn't have the cooldowns to defend the rest of his team. Charbel doing his best to kite around, survive as long as he can, but the last member alive, Evan, which, again, doing his job. Evan Young should be the last member to go down. Unfortunately, though, he does indeed go down, as we just said. Getting back into the game now, as we already know, Rockbridge did translate that 4 kills for 1 into a Baron objective, allowing them to push these waves so much more.
Talking about lack of wave clear, the Vayne decided to go for rapid fire cannon, having trouble getting into these team fights. And, you know, usually when Vayne hits that static shift, that's usually a little bit of wave clear, right? And they still have none of it, so it's going to be so hard to kill any of these Baron minions. You see Cameron just fighting them and not being able to do anything. Meanwhile, Justin in the bot lane is going to pick up this tower for free.
6-0-5 right now. Justin KillXL really making a statement this game, as is all of Rockbridge. Again, such a big point in this game.
Yeah, 4 levels up on the Vayne now. I don't think there's anything that she can do to stop this push, and no one's actually responding from Battle. They're just going to drop this inhibitor tower for free.
Yeah. Question about strength, you can't ignore. X-Sim completed 3 items, 2 tier items. He hasn't even finished his level 2 boots yet, but already finished that Archangel Staff. This is the last stand for Battle, probably coming up very soon with this Baron push.
Yeah, Andrew Vexu just ignoring the tower, coming to make the play in the bottom lane. We'll just group up. And it looks like Faithful Salmon's just going to get caught out under the tower. Not much he can do. Gauxbox diving in so deep, and Evan will get picked off by the Ezreal with that Archangel Staff. The ult really packs a punch, and there we go. The pick onto Rammus as well. Battle just have no idea what to do in this situation. They're getting run over, and there we go. Paulie will get caught out as well. And it looks like that might even just be the game with the Baron and that bottom inhibitor broken. It doesn't look like there's any way that Cameron can save his team in this situation.
Yeah, 5-21, the ace for Rockbridge. Nexus going down. This looks like it's going to be the end of the game, and in a pretty clean, pretty traditional Rockbridge fashion. Rockbridge High School secure the 2-0 victory over Battle and cement themselves as Ukatsu High School Esports League's first district champions.
Yes, congratulations, Rockbridge High School. You are the victors of Season 1 Ukatsu High School Esports League presented by Columbia College.
Yeah, both teams. Rockbridge going over to the other side, giving them their handshakes, let them know good game, but in the end, it was Rockbridge that performed all season long under the leadership, under the guidance of Coach Josh Bismarck Cobb. They've really grown as a team, really grown as a roster, and very few holes that they need to shore up, at least against these other teams. And when it comes to next year, again, it's so incredible to see how far they've come. They're going to lose 2 members, though, that being both Jeffrey and Justin, but a great, I guess, look for those seniors to walk away with a trophy and a championship
one of the only
victory.
A teams this year with multiple senior members, so maybe a fairy tale storybook ending for Rockbridge High School, who, again, has come such a long way since our first exhibition match, especially against Hickman High School.
Yeah.
And they're all smiles and hugs right now as they celebrate their first trophy in a very, very special esport.
Yeah, and again, when it comes to Battle, though, a team with no seniors, at least on the A-team roster, all the members will be back. They really showed that they have what it takes to be in this game in the semifinals over Hickman, and they have a lot of room to grow. And again, so very proud of how far they came this entire season, being one of the most underrated rosters coming out. But again, put up a good fight today. Again, it was Rockbridge who just looked so solid the entire season that walks away tonight. Again, so excited that they had such a fun game to close it out on. Rockbridge just really putting on a show.
Yeah. And with that note, we are going to end it here for our live stream and, of course, our live audience. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Be sure to tell your friends and family that esports is the future and can do so much for your kids, your parents, families, and schools. I'm Ukatsu Joe. With me is Ben and Ben, Bruce and Brooks. And we are signing out. Thank you so much.